crude oil continues to climb with both WTI and Brent putting $50 into the rearview mirror. They've both now pretty much doubled up off their bottoms, which were in and around the $25 to $27 areas, now trading up near $51, $52 for WTI and Brent. A spectacular run. They've been pausing near the $50 level for a little while, consolidating recent gains, and are starting to move up again. What's pushing them higher? A combination of things. We're seeing a weaker U.S. dollar generally helping other commodities anyways, but we're also seeing some good economic and demand news. We've had positive consumer spending reports coming out from around the world, from Japan, from the Eurozone, from the U.S., all suggesting that economies around the world are starting to pick up. China overnight reported trade data, and what was really intriguing about the trade data was a big improvement in their imports. Remember, China imports a lot of raw materials, exports a lot of finished goods. So their imports were down only 0.4%, and that's in U.S. dollar terms over year, compared to a 10% drop a month ago. When we look at it in Chinese yuan terms, it was actually a 5.1% increase in Chinese imports. So their demand looks like it's starting to pick up. That's also good news for crude oil. The U.S. supply-demand balance is also looking really positive for crude. We had another 3 million barrel decline this week, and something important to note was that after the weak non-farm payrolls report came out, we had Fed Chair Yellen on Monday still talking up the U.S. economy, still saying don't read too much into one data point, and that the overall economy remains strong, the demand remains strong for crude oil. And this is really important because for the last few months, it's really the U.S. that's been driving the bus on crude oil. The OPEC's plans to get together with Russia to put a cap on their production, that all fell apart in April. In June, we saw more cracks at OPEC. So OPEC is going flat out, and they're fighting for market share. Oil is still going up. Why is oil still going up? Because people feel that the U.S. market is coming back into balance. U.S. production has been coming down. Demand has been going up. What's really interesting is that a lot of people had speculated that perhaps U.S. shale production could come back on above 50 or whatever price soon, that it may start to kick in, and maybe it does, but that's obviously getting baked into expectations as well. So if we're seeing crude oil continuing to climb this wall of worry, continuing to climb even though people realize that more U.S. production could come back on, it means that traders think demand is going to continue to improve, and potentially not just from the U.S., but also from China and perhaps from other areas as well. Looking at the price of crude oil now, we're seeing with WTI here, we've broken out over the $50 level, challenging the October high near 50.80. Breaking through that, next resistance is top of this area of congestion from July in and around 53.70, and back at this time last year it was trading between 56 and 52. Looking at the RSI, it is getting overbought, so we do have to be careful. There's potential for a correction back to 50, maybe even back closer to 48, but for the time being this is still confirming upward momentum. We'll take a look here at Brent now, which also has been showing a similar types of trending, and it also has left 50 in its dust. Look at this. We had the beautiful recovery off the bottom, hanging around 50. It's now starting to accelerate to the upside as well. Yes, RSI is overbought, but look, it's also broken out of a downtrend, signaling continued upward momentum. Next resistance for Brent is in and around 54.20 on trend. One other energy market I wanted to highlight quickly is gasoline. Gasoline is actually trailing behind a little bit. It has started to catch up in response to the strong oil inventory numbers, but the gasoline inventory numbers were actually weak. We had a 1 million barrel increase in gasoline inventories, and this is quite significant because this came during the first week of summer driving season. So seasonally, natural gasoline is known to rally ahead of driving season and then retreat during driving season. And look at this now. We've had a big rally ahead of driving season. We started last weekend on Memorial Day, and it's now starting to roll over as well. Momentum starting to roll over for gasoline as well. So even if gasoline does manage to tick up a little bit, if crude oil keeps rising, overall there's a potential that we could see gasoline underperform crude in the near term.